Recording in progress.
You guys hear me in YouTube land? Please let me know. Anybody out there? Let's see. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. I'll be back in a minute.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial and therefore investors should only consider financial stability prior to trading. Past performance does not indicate future performance. The software, strategies, chapters, websites, and business websites, digital links for educational purposes only should not be considered as personal advice or strategy to achieve objective levels of income and whatsoever. Users of the information accept sole responsibility for the outcome of their deployment and self-assessment trade. LLC, associated company, agents, management, owners, customers, responsible for information. Please trade responsibly. Commodity futures trading commission, CFTC, Rule 4.11. Hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain limitations. Some features are apparent. No representation is being made of any unrealized likely to achieve profits or losses beneficial. In fact, there are frequent sharp differences between hypothetical and simulated performance results and the actual results typically achieved by any particular trading program. One limitation of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally greater than in hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve measurements, and no hypothetical trading requires completely account for the impact of measures in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses around here for particular trading programs like trading losses material points which also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results can or will compensate for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous factors related to markets in general, and two limitations that specific trading programs do not fully account for in simulated trading or in preparation of hypothetical performance results at all, of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
All right, good morning. A couple decent trades so far today. Markets are in interesting areas. Nasdaq's pretty weak comparably. But notably, there was a bunch of sell ice coming in pre-market, which you don't usually see. And whoever was doing it in Russell and NQ at the same time. So it's very likely the same entity. One, because you never see the sell ice that early, and you don't usually see them in tandem. So, so again, from day trading purposes, I didn't really have a short here based on my methods. But bigger picture, like we talked about, if you were on the Bookmap webinar yesterday with Tradier, bigger picture, this could be a topping signal for a market at all-time highs. So you see right here, it looks completely bullish, right? Like it's making all-time highs. But when you have this information, you can see that it's somebody's in here selling it. So it doesn't mean it's has to go down, but it's definitely a different look. You haven't been seeing, I never see that much sell ice, especially at all-time highs. So just keep that in mind. If you see over the next days, weeks, this was a top, go back and mark that chart and say, next time I see that, I'm going to take advantage of it, longer term. Hold on. I forgot to start the Discord. Sorry. Hold on. All right, sorry, Discord peeps. I forgot to start the stream in there. Anyway, all I was pointing out is there's some sell ice here pre-market and NQ, and then the market did break, and then it came in and continues to come in. Now what did I do wrong? Continues to come in. Cannot see the screen at all. Yeah, thank you. Hold on, I've got like 18 things I have to do now to set all this up. I'm trying to record this in Zoom so I can do the Fathom AI stuff. So give me a second here. Hopefully it does not interfere with OBS. It should be all right. All right, let me know if that works, Dune Runner, or if it's not working. Anyway, all I was saying is there's been sell ice in tandem, likely the same house pre-market, and then they kept coming in here, and Russell doesn't, I didn't have anything to go short off of as far as my areas and my rules around these events, but this could be a topping area over the next days or weeks. So, and Russell, and then you saw I didn't take this event in NQ. It was like in between Izzy zones at the time. So you can see it was like right there. So I did not take it. So unfortunately, I did take some reversions that worked right off the bat here. So we have different types of trading strategies. The position trading strategies where I'm looking for bigger moves out of these events, and then we have reversion trades where we're taking moves back to the event. The reversion trade's more of a scalp, where you're in and out, and it's very defined where you get in, where you get out. So I was watching this off of these GEX levels, and it started and came back, and I took it, got out there, and then good example of another reversion trade that doesn't have to be a GEX level. It's any important area for me, and it could be, it doesn't have to be your important areas, but this was the 2-1 ATR reversion off of, hopefully this Sierra chart's working. I had to restart it because it was so slow, but off of market profile composite. Hopefully this does not, yeah, see it's spinning around. So I gotta wait a second. I'll show you that once this thing loads. Zero chart's been a pain in my what lately. Anyway, this is a market profile composite low, which I'll show you when that Sierra chart loads up. But I took the 1 out at the zone. So those worked. And then I took a gold Izzy trade earlier. So again, one of them, this is a position trade. This is an important area that I draw these zones every morning for myself in my trade room. So this is an area from yesterday, buying tail, buying tail, buying tail. Came down here today with a still stop run, dumb and dumber, we call it. Dumb money puke. The retail trader puke. Don't be offended because I'm a retail trader too, but that's usually who is puking here. So that was into that area. I jumped in here, not on this account. I have different accounts for different strategies, but I jumped in here and then I actually missed the exit because I was doing other stuff. I got it like down here. I cost myself about 100 ticks on it, but thanks to one of my trader members, Nick, he said I'm out at the red lug because he took the same trade. So you have red lug, which I'll show you if my zero chart ever starts working. Hold on, it might be working now. Yeah, here we go. So this is why I use these leveling levels, because they're extremely powerful, right? So, and I usually use them for final targets. I am trading a variation now where I'm waiting for an opposing event, but on this one I just got out. So anyway, the stop run was down here into that Izzy zone, and I got out at red lug, confluent with GEX 2, strongest GEX level on the board, where dealers are going to likely be reacting. I didn't play reversions off of this, probably could have, but the 3 had already pretty much stopped. So I don't like taking these reversions, the back and so we have a variation where we take the back and black. Once it bounces off something, you take the corresponding 3, 2, 1, or whatever ATRs are there. But this one the 3 would have already stopped if you took it aggressively. So you're kind of opening yourself up for a potential whipsaw on that type of trade if they already would have stopped. So I didn't take this, but that's why it's going to come straight back to the zone now. Anyway, I was out of that long there. I've done nothing in ES. ES is in a very important area. According to options wise. Vol trigger 6,900 to 6,890 is really important that Brett keeps talking about. Rent from SpotGamma. Let's see here. If SPX moves back to 6,890, we flip back to risk off. So that's right where we're at. See if it holds. If not, it could be bedtime for Bonzo. If you're old enough to know that quote. And where is my ES chart here? So these markets held at a very important area to stay bearish, intermediate bearish for now, right? So that is a whopper balance area. You see that's right where this held today. So I don't really have an opinion here. If this stuff gets violated back to the downside, then I'm going to be trading double size shorts. So what I do every day is I come up with a thesis based on structure, and if it matches, then if I start getting volume events, so say for instance this comes back and clears this high volume node of this balance area, and I start getting bullish events, then I will take double size longs. Right here I have no opinion, but if it comes back down through here, I'm going to be double size shorts, right? I take line in the sands 25, 200, 220-ish. Because one, it held that to remain in a bearish state, and then that failed too. So I would take double size shorts if the volume events, the real-time volume events, which are the driver of my trading, should be yours as well, confirm those trades. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm going to get the CS chart and take a look at that structure. So kind of the same deal here. It's the most recent balance area. You see it held right at the bottom of the high volume node. If I were to, the high volume node is just the middle of a balance area where the most trade occurred, right? That's basically where it held. No opinion here, but again, if this gets back through this guy, then I'd be looking for a failed balance breakout where it tries to break out and gets back through the high volume node. That line in the sand is basically 68, 60-ish. Anything below there, I would take that trade, and I would take double size shorts in there as well. So I'll still take trades up here. I just don't have an opinion where I would trade bigger is the difference, right? So again, a thesis is just a guess on what's going to happen based on the structure. Right? I have no idea what's going to happen next. Nobody does. That's why I use real-time volume to guide my decisions. So this is just hanging out here. Again, when I'm referring to SPX prices, not futures prices. So there's about a 33-point difference between futures and SPX. So 6,900 to 6,930 and 33-ish in that's in the E-mini S&P. That's 69.20 is basically the risk off level for Brent. And the other thing you want to be watching is the driver of everything that happens in these equity markets lately because of the 0 date to expiration games where they load up the dealers. So what happened here is a 1 out of 4 time thing from my watching this, right? Usually when you get the hero, that's this blue line, that's the options flow, which is dictating everything in these markets. This is the tail wagging the dog. Usually when you get the flow alert, the hero, once it settles, the market turns up. When it kind of flattens out, this one did not. It turned up, the market turned up a little bit, but continuing down. So most of the time when you get a flow alert, we have a trade for this. If I get like a opposing event, so say the hero's moving this way and I get buy ice in ES or NQ or sell stops, I'll jump in a Floby. That's what we call it, the Floby trade. We're jumping right in the middle of the zone. This was not that. Actually, I think it was actually in NQ. I just didn't get it because I was setting stuff up. So, I would have lost on this one, right? Because this is 1 out of 4 that wouldn't work. So if you get the flow alert and you get the sell stops, I would have jumped in right in the middle of the zone. I would have stopped out of that one. But it's a good risk reward trade because you're not waiting for the move out of the zone to take the trade, which I do in most of my trades. You're jumping right in the middle of it and your stop's there. So that one would not have worked. What is here is a potential A plus reversion. So we have different type of reversion trades where we're playing for moves back to the zone. So this is the 1 ATR. This is the 1 ATR stop. This is the 2 ATR. 2 ATR stop is up here. All right. So I will play 1s or 2s or 3s back to the zone. And I always get, well, which ones do you play? Well, if you're playing them aggressive, meaning as the market moves into them first time, you got to commit to whatever one you're going to trade and you take it every time you see it. Right. I'm taking back in blacks and A plus reversions where I'm waiting. I'm not taking them aggressively because I just can't keep up with them, especially on webinars. So I'm looking for entries. In this case, it's an A plus where you get the entry right before or into the prior event, as long as the stop is outside of it. And this one's right outside of it. So I'll take that one. The 2 is also an A plus reversion, or you could take back in blacks. So this is the one I took that I was going to show you guys before my zero chart was loading. So this is the one I took in ES earlier, right off of this puppy. So this had come, actually this needs to be merged too. So ES came, I'll just show you here. So again, most of the time my back and blacks are off GEX levels. This one was off the market profile composite. So that was this trade here. Market had moved. No, hold on. It's easier to see like this. So it had moved up into here, started to fail. And I took the corresponding 2-1 back to the zone. So that's what I traded that one off of. And it's also giving you information from a thesis standpoint too. If markets can't get back in, like this tried to get in here and couldn't get in and then failed. And now it's about to fail out of that one too. So this could be, then you really want to watch if it gets in that one. So the rule of thumb for market profile is if markets accept into market profile composites, you expect it to go to the other side. That happens more often than it doesn't. That's all that means. It doesn't mean it has to do anything, right? But this guy tried to get in here, tried to get to the top, couldn't make it, couldn't get in there, and now it's going to work its way out. That looks bearish to me, right? And if it gets in here, that looks bearish to me as well. And then if it breaks those areas, we already know the SpotGamma areas are about to break. So a lot of things are lining up for potential sell off, right? I know that's crazy talking these markets, but this, for this guy, we're pretty far away, right? For that thesis, but you know, this could pull back all the way at least to this high volume node too, with where the areas we're in right now. So again, it's just a guess with the structure stuff. And I could trade bigger size, larger shorts, multiples, but I'm not going to do it up here. If that balance area breaks, then I'll do it, like I said. So other than that, now we just sit and watch nothing happen. And wait for our next setup. Actually, I got to load these up. A plus reversion here. Actually, that's too many. So this is the sizing. So this is the Scott Zones drawing tool, and I'll post the flip book I use for everything in my trading. These are drawing these events that are happening on the subcharters, just drawing it on the chart, and it gives you the entries for the reversion trades, entries if I want to take position trades, and it gives you position sizing. So for my position tradings, if I want to risk $500 on a trade or $400, this one's set to. I can put on 0.2. If I want to take the reversion, risking $400 for each one of these, it's 0.4. So this is basing it off the full contract, right? So 4 micros is what I can put on, or 2 micros. So this one I will put 4 on for this dude. And this is one too. So you just got to be careful if I'm taking both of those. Like say I just want to risk $400 on these reversions, well then you got to cut these in half, because each one of these, if I get blown out of both of these, then I'm losing $800, right? But I'm willing to take it. And for the 2, I'd move the 2 above these GEX levels too. So for me to be stopped out, it's got to get through a prior event and 3 different GEX levels. And if you want to, you can even move them above the SpotGammas as well, which I would probably do. Those are working. Currently, I have nothing on. I was going to take a Crude's at an important area here too. So we were looking at it yesterday. It looked very bullish. Well, things change, and now it's back down here, right? So you had a failed balance breakout of that guy. This is overnight sneak attack. That's not bullish. And now you're at another important area. This is a balance right here. So this gapped up here. Gaps are still directional conviction. Gapped up there too. So that's the current balance that I'm looking at. And you can see this is right where this launched from. And here we are. So I was going to take an FBB, failed balance breakout. These are trading strategies that I have, that I made the course for, so you guys can take the same trades I'm taking. That's this guy here. Failed balance breakout in this case. Failed balance break of a longer term balance on hourly chart where market travels back through the balance area, high volume node. Trades are taken aggressively on first move out. So that's where it's sitting right now. There was an event here, but that event just tickled the ATR to the upside, so it disqualified this as a bearish event for me. That's how I judge, right? See how it poked out of the ATR here? So I cannot take shorts off of this particular event. The only thing I can take is longs, as long as it doesn't tag the ATR below, right? So there's a potential long here too. If this comes back, I'll take a long. I think that's an Izzy zone. We'll look here. Otherwise, if I get another event below here, I'm going to take Breaking Bad and FBB. Breaking Bad is when you have a current balance break down, in this case, that's the current balance, through the high volume of the prior balance, then you take that trade too. So we have FBBs brewing and we have Breaking Bads brewing if we get a bearish event below here, which I will take. If this holds, this is an Izzy zone, I will take a long, because I'm a day trader, right? It doesn't matter what I think is going to happen here. This is an inflection zone. If it's bullish right now, I should have already probably taken this. I don't think I would have been filled though. So this is why I put my entry above the ATR, because you have these algos that love to snap it back at the ATR. Right? So it never actually would have been entered the long. If it comes back here, I'll take the long at that yellow line. That's what this line is. So this zone drawing tool covers most of the issues that traders have. Right? One, it draws the zone, aka the edge. Then it tells you for position trades, if I want to get long, I get long there, and this is where I stop out. I do that for a reason, because I don't want to get chopped up with the algos that are the entire market basically most days. So it gives you where to get in, it shows you the edge, where to get in, where to get out, and your position sizing. So for my position, if I'm taking this Izzy long, I could put on 0.8, risking $400, right? That's what this one's based off of. So, and you can plug that in there too. So you put your account size in the zone drawing tool, in advance. Wait, I'm sorry, put it up here. So I just put it at 4,000 risking. So I'm risking $400 per trade. I'm risking 10% of 4,000 just to make it $400. This one more for the reversion trades. So I could probably trade a little more. I could put on 10. All right, so if that comes up, I will put an Izzy long on, and then that's just one of my areas. Let's see if we got anything else in crude. Just bouncing around the yellow lug. This might be a pick here. Actually, I need to. No, none of these are mergeable. This needs to be merged. So this is how I form these market profile composites. So these are the value area for the day, for a single day, where value area is just where 70% of the trade that day occurred. Point of controls where the most trade occurred. So all this is like a statistical, whatever they call that, right? That's all that is, flipped on its side. So this is where most of the trade occurred yesterday, 70% of it, and that's the high volume node. I mean, that point of control. So, which is similar to a high volume node that I look at on the balance areas. If days overlap the value areas by more than 50%, this one was almost exactly 50%, then I merge them and I come up with a composite, and that's what these blue boxes are. Very, very powerful areas. We saw that I took that back in black trade in ES off of the composite, right? So we got this guy. Hold on, I'm not taking this reversion now. These are canceled because even if I was in this trade, I'd be out, right? So I was going to work this short, but we got a new event. So I'm not hoping it comes back to this guy if I got a new event. Now I just start the process over. Now we have an A+ reversion off of that dude. So I'll put that in. So the entry is inside the prior event as long as it stops outside of it, right? So I will take that long now, reversion. And I have other reversions here. So say this rips up and bounces off these gamma levels. Say it does one of these. I'll take the corresponding reversions coming back. So that's step one. I don't know who keeps coming in and out of the room, but it's not that difficult, guys. Seriously. It's like I just hear someone coming out of the Discord room, Bookmap Discord room. It's not that hard. All right, so this is a bullish AlgoGuy. Let's just make sure it's on the right setting here. No, so 41 ATR, I flipped this. So this is an exponential moving average. We call it AlgoGuy. I use this as a filter. We have different trades off of this, but different strategies. But I use it as a filter for my Bark Lick trade. We'll go over that trade. Let me post this flip book in that. So everything I'm using in my trading is in this flip book. What did I just film on there? Oh, I just filled on this A pluser. So filled in here, hoping it comes back. This is a short event. So this just moved down like something was just said somewhere. Hold on, my squawk box is not connected. All right, I'm not sure if that was news or not. Really doesn't matter. I'm in the trade now, but that thing just ripped down 50 straight points. All right, let's see. So this is a 50 tick AlgoGuy. So this is bearish. This actually was a red rum setup too. So again, I'm just going from strategy to strategy. And let me post this in the. So this is the flip book with everything I use. This will be posted in the YouTube channel.
In 5 minutes time now, at the bottom of the hour, this is released the weekly EIA natural gas check.
So this is another important. So all I'm doing is looking for these volume events in my important areas. This is called the red rum. It's when you get a volume event, an opposing volume event into the red ribbon, right? Got those buy stops and that. So I should be short that right now, which I'm going to take. Play the price change game here too.
Order filled. Order filled.
I just want to put on one of those right now.
Order filled.
So I showed the price change game on the Bookmap webinar yesterday. I'm doing that more and more where so you can see, I don't even have this up right here. Price change. I guarantee this is price changing. There it is. Right. So the way I've been doing this lately, just because of the propensity for these markets to do that, most of the time, not every time, I'll put on half my size if we're price changing into my entry, and then if once it pops back with a price change the other way, I'll put on the other half, so I get a better entry for my trade, right? So I put on one, so I'm long the reversion, and then now I'm short red rum. That's this guy here, red rum, red rum. Can't really read today. Here we go. Take fade trades in the AlgoGuy red ribbon. That's the longer term exponential moving average. That's all it is. We call it AlgoGuy. SI events have to be either icebergs that are in the direction of AlgoGuy or stop, run, fade. So that meaning as that moved into the red ribbon, hold on. This is pretty close here. So it's just hard. I'm not going to sit here and miss this, you know, because this will tickle these prices. Like these zone prices are just ridiculously accurate. Like it's just so annoying when it gets, especially people using the zone drawing tool. Everybody has their orders right here, right? So be aware of that. If you're using this thing, you may want to front run a little bit. So I got out of half. So if this does this, at least I got out of half. If not, I'll leave 2 in there at the actual fill price. I just can't monitor it like I would do if I'm sitting here by myself because I'm showing you guys stuff. So got out of 2 with that reversion. If it pops up here, I'll get out of the other 2. Like that. All right, so I'm out. So there you go. A plus reversion special. That's why we call it A plus, because these markets already tag the ATRs and come back to the zone on their own most of the time, more often than they don't, AK and edge. Or even better when the entry is in a prior event, because the traders that are caught in here that were, you know, selling in here, in this case, usually they get run over and then they want out when it comes back. But that is a perfect example of the A plus reversion. Winner, winner, chicken for dinner. And by the way, I need to put on my other half of my short here as soon as this price changes. So I got in half of the red rum short here. And I knew this was probably going to happen. Sometimes the price changes for 300 points, not very often, like 5% of the time. So I'm okay if I only put on half and it does that. I got to be okay with it because most of the time it does this nonsense. So the minute this price changes back, I'm going to put on the other half of this short. That's one area. So this could have been an Izzy long, but I'm sorry, this isn't Izzy short, right? Because the market moved down here, came back with the sell stops into this guy here, which I still think is valid. So I could take an Izzy short here too. I'll put them on. I'll put on both of them up here. Actually put on more size because this sizing is basing an entry down here. So if this thing could just price change, well, there's a little blip right there. So I'll put this on right now.
Order filled. Order filled.
All right. So I'm short Izzy and red rum. And I got to put on more size on my Izzy because I was able to enter way up here versus down here. The sizing is based on the entry down here. There's your little price change. That's not much of a price change, but it's good enough for me. So if this continues to rip up, this tells me exactly where I'm wrong on my trade based on my system, my methodology. I have learned over 8 years, if this is able to push the ATR plus out, that's the ATR plus 15% in this case, then I just say, trade's not going to work. I'm out. I don't sit there and hold it and hope and blah, 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 right? So my stop will be for these 2 shorts at 25,657. I can hear this dude talking here. 25,657. Whoops.
Order canceled.
Natural gas spot prices rising following the deeper than expected storage
All right.
EIA.
Those stops are working. And then if this market moves in my favor, then I start to definitely will probably get out of some down at GEX 1, right? So I'll piece out at my important areas as well. And then I can play the price change game in important areas too. We'll hopefully do that where it'll come down, price change, I'll get out, I'll put it back on, price change, get out, put it back on, and I'll play this game with them. We talked all about that yesterday. Watch that Trader webinar we did with Bookmap Ltd yesterday. Bruce is on. Got the band back together. Used to do all my webinars with Bruce, and then he ditched me. Now he's never on. All right, we got some gold buy ice here. I can't believe this market's rallying. I don't think I've seen. Oh wait, no, it rallies every day. My bad. So this could be a breaking away trade if the heavy relative volume's here, right? That's a balance. We have breaking away when it breaks out of balance, when we get a bullish event, as long as I get 200% more relative volume, because I want to see the big monies behind it. I don't want to get juked on the balance breakout. That's why I demand relative volume. So we'll look and see if that's happening. And I can take that trade. It's close. I'll take it. You know, it's like 100 and this turns yellow when it's 200% or more. That's real close. It's like 195%. So I will take the breaking away trade right now. Breaking away gold. You know, I prefer to do the, especially if this is into the lug, I might do the price change game for my entry here too. If it's into the red Ludwig level, hopefully we got new lugs. And then I hate taking trades into the lug because they're so powerful. Yeah, we got new lugs. So that's a thesis in its own right. It built new lugs to the upside. We call them lugs. Short for Ludwig level. 4863.7 I could put on 0.2. You know, on trades like this, you may not want to play the price change game because it's such a powerful thing that's happening that it might price change for the next 300 ticks, right? So I'll just put on full size here. 4863.7 on FBB. Breaking away long in gold. $37. So that's one thing. Let's see if we got anything else in here. AlgoGuy's got to be bullish, first of all. Yeah, AlgoGuy's bullish. So I can put on Bark Licks is just when I'm taking advantage of any event, right? Because the edge is inherent in the event. No matter where it's at, I have a trade for that. Where if it goes ATR, which it just did, basically to the tick, retest, confirm. Why is this not changing colors? Then I take that trade too, as long as AlgoGuy's in my favor. So that's brewing. If it pops up here, I'm going to go long, breaking away. Let's see what else is here. By the way, this is why these markets are rallying, because the hero controls every single movement in the market most of the time. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So it's just moved from minus 2.7 billion to minus 1.5 billion. See? So this is the thing. It's like you put on these trades. Got some sell ice here too. You know, you got to hope you don't get heroed. I'm getting heroed right now. I'm not stopped yet, but this thing is ripping and you just got to sit here and take it. This is why it's so annoying. Like you have great positions on or, you know, great areas and then they rip the hero and they start to play the manipulation game. It happens every single day. The other thing we want to look for here is how these gamma bars are forming. This is SpotGamma. That the hero is SpotGamma, and then we have the trace here. Right, so I'll show you this since yesterday. It worked perfectly. I'm watching for this. These are usually magnets. So there's just a ton of negative gamma forming. I actually, JT from SpotGamma is in my trade room, and he's making himself accessible for us for questions because I am still very options ignorant as far as all the different scenarios and stuff. I understand in the basic sense, but I don't even trade options yet. I will be for hedges and stuff. But you can see these are just all forming over here. And I asked him earlier what that means. Let's see what he said. Because I didn't get a chance to read it. Let's see. I said, what did I say? I said, Jay, you see lots of negative gamma bars forming. What is your read on this so close to the voucher? That's where we're basically at right now. We're a lot of direct option buying, meaning traders are making a stake in directional bias. We're seeing it in long puts. So that means long puts obviously means traders think it's going down. So just a thesis on that stuff, but that's interesting. Yesterday, it happens every day. So this stuff was a magnet yesterday. Hopefully I can find it. Was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember now. Yeah, so look at this. this thing stopped right. So these formed yesterday. We talked about this in the AIM webinar. These formed up here. Market came straight to them. The market is the white. It's exactly where it stopped. Hero turned over and got smushed. So pay attention when these form. These are real-time options levels. So the options levels we're looking at on the heat map here, they're still relevant because options are longer term, most of them, besides the 0 to expiration nonsense game, right? So they're still, like, this bounced off of these. These are mentor Q levels I have on my chart, right? And also SpotGamma levels there. So I didn't have a trade off of these right now. But the point is, these are still important. But what's most important is stuff that's coming in right now. And this is what the trace shows you on SpotGamma. So click on that flipping book. There's discounts to everything I'm using in here. There's Bookmap. You need the MBO bundle if you want to watch the Stop Iceberg indicator. Here's the mentor Q, 20% off. Hero, SpotGamma, 50% off the first month. Just use Scott code, but that's for the SpotGamma. That's in that flipping book. So, not stopped out of this guy yet. I just got to hope now that I don't get heroed. But there is a new event here too, so I could take trades off of this potentially. It's pretty much in the same area as this guy. This is another. Let's see if AlgoGuy's crossing. This hurt my position as well. We have a trade for this too called Heavy Al when this thing crosses with Heavy Relative Volume. But when this crosses, you get the algos that play the cross. That's another reason we call it AlgoGuy. So this is about to cross, which is also going to hurt my position. So I got hero going against me, and I got this thing crossing. So, it may just stop and flip back over. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm just pointing out we do have trades for that as well. So my stop's in. This rips up here and stops me out. If I get heroed, so be it. On to the next trade. That's what trading is. And then I could take different trades off of this. Say this does rip. I'll take reversions to this dude, especially off of this stuff. If it fails and comes back, I'll take the 2, the 1 back to the zone. I really hope it doesn't get up there because then I'll be stopped out of my shorts. But other than that, I'm long gold breaking away. Did I get in full size? Yeah, I got full size on. So got in there. So I also want to watch these areas, as it moves up here. I'll play the price change game. If this rips up, GEX 4, if it's price changing, I'll get out of one, put it back on when it price changes the other way, and I'll play that game with them too. So again, this helps your mindset because when you're in position trades, it sucks most of the time. You get in and then you watch this nonsense, right? Well, when you're playing the price change game, you can play the game with them. So you're actually wanting pullback so you can get in, get out, get in, get out. That I'm convinced that's the best way to capture R most of the time, right? The risk reward trade. Everyone's like, when I put on, I like to risk 2 to make 8. Well, great. I want to make 8 times my trades too. How often does that happen? How often does that happen versus this? About 50 to 1 as far as this versus that, in my opinion. So with the price change algo, this is part of Market Pulse. That's this guy. Showed this all yesterday too on the webinar. Just another way to see what's going on in here on top. Even if you don't trade off of this, you can see what's going on. So you just hit create. It's the first one on here. I don't change anything on here. Just leave it, hit play. It's on a 5-minute training period. I mean, it's looking back 5 minutes, and then it'll color every time it gets above 70% of the price change movement. That's the white here. So you can change the colors. I got mine that white. So every time a price changes, then you can start playing the game. So hopefully this will rip, and I will show you what I'm talking about. This is all-time highs again, pretty much, so we're pretty close. Red lugs up here at 48.80, which I'd watch closely. So I was long earlier, and I got out here. It did respond, and then it broke them and made form new ones. So I will do the same thing if it rips up there. Let me turn on TickStrike here. It's a little too quiet. Other than that, this is an important area in ES options wise, and there's just been nothing in here. I did bounce off this area, but there was no trade for me to take here. The only event here earlier was sell ice, and I took that reversion. I don't take these reversions again. I've already got the reversion once. That's what I look for. It doesn't mean it can't come back here, but it's just one time for me, right? Anyway, this stuff did hold. I just didn't get an event down here to take my trade. If I don't get an event in my important areas, I'm not putting on trades. So that's just, if you have these mentor Q levels and SpotGamma levels and you said, I think this area is going to hold, I mean, that's an edge. Don't get me wrong. This is definitely an edge. That's why we use them. And you got a nice trade here. I have to see a event confirming that area. That's what I demand out of my trading. So other than that, you guys got questions, put them in the YouTube, please. Regimen, thanks for making everything clear. I was expecting us to be bullish today because I was confused with the gamma flip. It wasn't pre-market, but of course, that isn't really relevant to the real New Yorkish. Dan the P, where do you get the GEX levels? Are they ATR levels? No, it's not DEX, it's GEX. The ones on the chart here are Mentor Q, so these are Mentor Q's GEX levels that you get right on the heat map. You need the price lines. I'll show you here the price lines add-on to have them on the chart, and Mentor Q, these guys give you a discount code for that. But if you go, like here's the drawing too. If you go to the Bookmap Marketplace, so that's my zone drawing tool. Pro is a basics, just shows you the volume event in the ATR. Pro gives you all the reversion lines. That's monthly. And then so you go over here, type in price lines. Oh, that's not good. Just spilled water all over my desk. Price lines right there. So you need this. It's $150 for lifetime. If you contact Mentor Q, they got the code on there somewhere on their website. Once you join, you get $50 off of this. So that's what you need to get them on your heat map. All right, this NQ short is not, just by hearing this stuff, it's probably not doing very well. And I guarantee heroes continue to move higher. That's the only thing that drives markets most days. There you go. So this thing went from minus 3 billion all the way back and dragged the markets right with it. And again, these markets literally move tick for tick with this thing. Look at this. It's just, it's unbelievable to me. I mean, again, I used to be one of the biggest market manipulators back in the day. You know, back then I was playing games with this, but I mean, whatever they do in here, the market does. It's not the other way around. This is driving this, and it's just so annoying, especially you get a trade on and you just got to hope you don't get heroed, right? There we go. So again, you can't predict that, guys. The thing you can predict off this is when you get a flow alert, and usually it's a reversal. But I mean, you just got to sit. This trade's like a market, right? So you got to just sit there and take it. If they decide they're going to rip this thing up, what's going on here is they're loading up the dealers with options, right? Next expiration mainly. Well, it's both today, but point is the dealers are not directional traders. They have to hedge their positions. So they get loaded up. They got to turn around and buy futures to hedge themselves. And that's what causes this nonsense. So it's happening right now. It happens every day, all day long. It's great when it's in your favor. It's not so great when it's against you. So we'll stop out of these shorts up here. And I will definitely take reversion trades here too. If it bounces up this stuff, let me put an alert here. So I know it's up here if I'm not on the screen.
MP Queen confirms that they will vacate their seat.
All right, so long gold. So these are the position trades. Long gold, and I'm about to get stopped out of these shorts here. So that's these two little piglets that are getting run over by the hero. So stop out on the next trade. Again, you can't predict that stuff. And I will take reversions, but as long as there's not a new event, say this rips up here. I mean, I could take them off that too. I prefer, if the market will listen to me, come up here, and then I'll take the 2 and the 1 back to the zone, hopefully. Now I get to get tortured by TickStrike. So I've used this thing for 15 years. I need it, but it gets real annoying listening to your position go against you and watching it. But I need it, so it alerts me to stuff going on in other markets too. And you get the highest weighted stocks. These stuff you can use it. I use it to help judge too. So say it was long here, and we're coming up to an important area. Say we're coming up to these GEX levels. Well, I'm expecting a fade or at least a reaction. Well, if this stuff's all going crazy to the buy side, I set these at 11. It's a meter between 1 and 15. You can get a discount to these. I don't have that in the flip book. Oh yeah, I do. But if these are going crazy, it's more likely to blow through there. These are the highest weighted stocks that comprise the indices. So that is this guy here. You get discounts to that too. Right there, TickStrike. I got to take this out. We got a new. I'm not even using this anymore. We have a guy in my room, Brainiacs, doing his master's thesis at Oxford. All right, I should be stepped out of these here shortly, probably to the tick as usual. Anyway, he's developed an AI journaling. It's incredible. It's got like a microphone. You just talk into it, and it screenshots. When you put on a trade, everything we look at, you don't have to do anything manually. You don't have to upload CSV files. Anyway, any members of my room gets free access to that as well. Right now we're beta testing it, but you get free access to it as a member of my room. Just another perk of my trading. All right, put me out of my misery here. Where's my stop at? 57 or yeah, 657. So I just missed the stop to the tick. I had it here. So once I put my stop, I don't change it, right? So that was right there at the time when I got filled on the trade down here. So this is these prices are insanity though, how they reacted, that thing reacted right there. It'll still pop up one more time, and you guys have seen me go crazy because it happens to me 10 times a day. Fill me to the tick and then do that. That gets annoying after you watch it 4 million times in your life. But here we go. Let's all enjoy the tick out. All right, there you go. All right, so took my shot on those shorts, got heroed, nothing you can do, right? It's this little piglet. It's just so, I mean, I can't even imagine how much money these firms are making playing this game. I can't even imagine. Just load up the dealers and watch them hedge and just make bank every single time. Every time. Nobody steps in and stops this flow, ever. Feels like, anyway. So that just moved 3 billion and it dragged the markets up right up with it. And it's both NQ and ES. Right? This is the SPX hero, but it does the same thing. You can see it right here. It's insanity. What they can pull off. It is absolute insanity. They're heroed. But you got to accept it. It's part of the trading game these days. All right, and on a positive note, gold is working. I will be watching this area, and I would take reversions off this potentially. I'll get out of some if it's price changing into my level, and I can play that game, and then I can put on reversion shorts off the GEX 4 if I want. If this holds, if it blows right through here, then I won't take them, and I watch the next GEX level up. Other than that, there's not much up here to. All right, so stopped out of those pigs. Was it to the tick as usual? Let's see. Yeah, of course, told you. As you hear me complain about it, I mean, go crazy about it every single day. Part of my trading, I feel bad for them because I got to listen to it every day, even on these Bookmap webinars. It's uncanny, these prices, how accurate they are. It's uncanny. So I got literally filled to the exact tick there. Might have gone maybe a three ticks higher. But on a 40 ATR, that's similar. That's the definition of beginning filled with a tick. All right, completely dead though. Nothing. I mean, it's rallying, but it's just being heroed and no events. So again, I don't put on trades unless we get the events. That's just how I trade. If you got questions, throw them in. Now's a good time to ask questions while we watch the hero games. Let's see where else we're at here. So, you should have all these levels in your head. So when something fires off, you're not scrambling to see, where are we at in the NQ? Where are we at a Ludwig level or a market profile composite? You can see this held. This needs to be merged too. So this held where it should hold for now, not to get smoked. Got back in this prior one. This one probably could be cut off because the market's traded through it. Usually can judge that if there's other important things there. I mean, it looked like this was like, and that wasn't the point of control, but it did bounce off there, so I'll leave it for now. But the point is, it tried to break out of here, bounced off that one back inside. So these things are, this is why I take trades off of those areas too. They're very, very powerful. We saw the E-mini area. I've already showed this a few times. I took that back in black reversion when it tagged this, couldn't bounced off it, and I took those reversions back to the zone. So important areas. This is, I'm telling you, I've got it. They're going to put me away. Look at this. That's why I always kid that there's a camera in my office, because it sure the hell feels like it. right? It's like, oh, your stop's at, thanks for telling us your stop's at 657. We're going to stop it right there, and then we'll pull it back. Anyway, there's your reversion trade too. I didn't take this one. You could have taken it up. Didn't quite get there. Again, I'm not taking aggressive reversions. I'm waiting for it. So I was hoping it would get back here. This is the deal, right? So I always get, well, which reversions do you take? You take the 1, the 2, or the 3? I don't know. Some days the 1s work nonstop like this. Other days it's the 2s and the 3s. I'm taking back in black. So I was waiting for a bounce off these and to take them. I'm out of luck. There it is. That's done now off of this event. See what I'm saying? So, but I did call I would be filled to the tick there. So that's on tape. So that's good because that's the only thing keeping me sane that the public can see what I'm talking about. So it's not, so I'm just not thinking it's in my head because it happens literally 10 times a day. And it feels very, very personal. So look at this. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this. The minute this turns over, it's just insanity. It's insanity. What time was that? 10:47:35. That's us Eastern. Hey, look at that. To the exact second. Well, what do you know? I can't believe this is running the show. Literally to the exact second. The minute this thing turned, this turned. All right, we're at that level here, that GEX level. That's why I put this alert in here. That gets annoying too. There we go. So I'm going to get out, see a price changing. So I'm going to get out of one of these breaking away trades right here, and I'm going to play the price change game.
Order filled.
So if it keeps going, which it could, right? Remember we took the breaking away there. If it keeps going, I got one on. More than likely, it's going to play this nonsense game. When it price changes the other way, I'll put it back on. And then I'll play that game with them if they want to do that. And when I say they, it is they. This is a zero-sum game. These jackasses are trying to take our money, right? You're playing the game with them. If it keeps ripping, I still have one on. I'm fine with it. Then I'll watch this next level up. If this were to hold right here and come back, I could put the corresponding reversions on. The back in black reversion trade. Put on 4. That's the 2. And I take the 1. Actually, I'll trade, because remember, each one of these is risking $400. So I'm going to take the 2 and the 1 at 2 each. Whoops. Okay, this is already driving me crazy. I got to turn TickStrike off like 3 times a day because it just drives me crazy listening to it. But I need it, but it drives me crazy. I don't even have a position on it. It's driving me crazy. All right, so this was ATR retest, right? So bark and licks are on the table. Unfortunately, I was really hoping the market would get smoked. See how this is crossing right now? Remember I said once this crosses, you get the algos. There you go. Stop me out. But anyway, that's bullish. So if this comes back, I can put on bark lick long here. 655, 75. We're getting in a time of day though where it's just not a winning proposition. Lately I've been physically getting up. I used to get up physically to get up because it's cost me millions of dollars trading at this time period between 10:15, 12 o'clock central or 12:30 central. I used to physically remove myself from my office and just go back to my condo at the time and like take a nap or whatever just to get the hell out of it because I just would lose so much money. So nothing's changed. Like a good rule of thumb is if you get relative volume over 150%, you can trade this time of day or that time of day. But other than that, you're just asking for trouble, especially with the new hero. I was just about to say a bad word, hero nonsense. That's when they really play games with the thing. So just be aware of that. So if this comes back, I will take this. 56.25. I can put on 2. I'll play that price change game. So I'll just put on 1. I love this that I got filled to the tick though. Again, it's just delightful.
Order canceled.
All right, Barclay. But guys, this is why we have this reversion trade, right? Came right up, filled, back to the zone, right at the ATR. That's why we take it. I didn't take that one again because it was aggressive. It wasn't a prior event, but this isn't an A+ reversion like we took on this other one, right? This was not a prior event. It doesn't mean that there's not still trap traders in there to help push it back, but I just don't. I take it off the prior event like I did this on this guy. Doing my best not to get pissed off though. I don't even know why I get mad anymore because it happens so often. It just drives me crazy, the tick outs. It just literally drives me crazy. It sets me off. And all I do is bitch about it. And I keep claiming the reason I bitch is so my head doesn't pop off, but I've found, you know what, that it just triggers me. The more I talk about it, the more mad I get. So I just got to accept it. But it's just like, again, it's not like it's one time a week. It's 10 times a day because that zone drawing tool and those levels are incredible. All right, I'm done talking about that. Let me guess, heroes pulling back. Hey, look at that. Whoops. So it just went from 400 million back down to a billion and pulled both markets right along with it. Unreal. See what the trace looks like. See if they're starting to put in their little games in there too, where you can see the GEX levels. So what's great about this is you can watch them form. Again, this is SpotGamma stuff. So you can see there was like nothing there. If we get into the open, then it starts to fill in all these negative gamma bars. That's what I was asking JT in my room. He's a SpotGamma guy. He's actually, I want to watch this webinar with him. This is him right here. He did a Bookmap webinar not too long ago. So he's accessible. There he is. Looks like a badass. And he's smart. Way above my pay grade. Let's see here. Yeah, see. So, I mean, I'm just starting, not just starting to use this stuff, but it's like I haven't, these are real-time gamma levels. So if you get 99 percentiles, it's very likely going to head to that area, or you can use it for resistance. Like say you get long and these fill in, like I showed you yesterday with the ES, that was the stopping point. They filled in and the market turned around at them. Very important information, guys. You're watching this real time. This is the hero on this view. It controls the market. Every move of the market is basically the hero besides the algos. Yes, there are pockets the big money comes in and, you know, it has to do their business, but that is very few and far between. So you just got to be aware of it, understand it. Again, the hero moves like the market, but you know when you get the hero alerts, those are the best times to take advantage of it because it usually reverses. So. Other than that, the reversion trades have been working great today, right? Across all markets. There's one in crude. I put one on here this morning off of put support. I was in it, and then I heard the new event, and I got out. Because I don't hope it comes back here, even though it did. I don't hope it comes back here with a new event, and then you start the process over. Of course, I didn't take this one because that was the easy one. I don't like taking the easy ones. I like to be tortured for hours. Anyway, that one worked off the GEX levels up here. Had another one out here. Version 1 ATR. This was just aggressive. It wasn't off anything, but I'm just showing you guys. It's like it happens all day, in every market. Master Chief, why wouldn't you put the stop a few ticks away? Because Master Chief, it doesn't matter where I put my stop, it still fills it to the tick. That's what drives me absolutely. So if I say, okay, that's my stop, if I move it here, still tags it. I move it up here, still tags it. It's not in my head. Trust me. Come in my trade room, you'll watch it on a daily basis. So that's why it's like it's not even worth me. You know, if you really want to, you can. I could have said, all right, I'm going to put it above that GEX level, which I probably should have done looking at this now. Or you can say, I'm going to give this more breathing room. They've got to get through all these GEX levels to stop me out. You can do that too, right? So guys, it's not, I'm showing you how I trade it. If I recommend until you know what you're looking at, you follow my rules, but you can do whatever you want, right? That's the beauty of trading and the downfall of trading. You can do whatever you want. There's no law, there's no rules, right? You can, however you want to try to blow your account, you can do it, right? With stupid stuff. No one's going to stop you. That's why trading's so hard, because it's a limitless opportunity and ways to make mistakes, right? That's what Mark Douglas covers in Trading in the Zone. But yeah, you can do whatever you want. I should have paid more attention, just put it up a little higher because I just know what goes on, but it's not in my mind. Wherever I put it, that's the stopping point. So why not just stop out there instead of costing myself, right? All right, so if this comes back, this is where I'm entering the long now, right? ATR retest confirm. I'm really, really surprised that the market stopped right at the volume events, minus the surprise part. I'll put on that long. I'll definitely watch that stuff. But the reversions are off the table now because it already did the reversion. So there's just nothing happening, guys. So you just gotta, this is part of trading. You gotta sit there and you gotta wait. Force trades. I don't, right? I either get my setups or I don't. If I don't, then I just sit here and get tortured watching it. This reversion hasn't hit yet, so I can potentially take this guy. I didn't even hear this. I could have taken a sexy Gexy here. So a sexy Gexy is one of the only three trades that I take in the middle of the zone. That's these auto fade trades, right? So a TikTok and extreme tick reading, sexy Gexys when you move into a Gex level with opposing ice. Right, so this came into this guy, these two Gex levels with sell ice. I could have just jumped in and just, that's my stop versus my position trades. I'm getting in way down here, so you can trade even bigger size. So I did not put that on. Hopefully I get lucky. I would have stopped out, but if it tags this and comes back, I'll put on the reversion.
Kansas City Fed composite index 0, 0, forecast of 4.
All right. So I'm not trading bonds. There's been a lot of activity in there. I don't trade it very often. Once in a while I'll trade it, especially like on failed balance breakouts, but there's been, you can see here all day long. Sell ice, sell stops, sell ice. What does that mean? The paper's not always right, but if they keep putting in sell ice, it's probably going to relent. All right. Let's look at the bigger picture here. So this isn't bearish longer term. Broke down out of that. That was broke down the Japan news the other day. If this fails, if we get one of these, and you got that's a balance right now too, this is probably going to get smushed. So if you trade bonds, I would watch that for a failed balance breakout, breaking bad, current balance breakdown through the high volume, to prior balance, and it's already looking bearish. So I would, if I'm trading those trades, I would trade double size because it's already looking bearish from a structure standpoint. If I get bearish events, then I will fire. There's silver. Again, we can look at this stuff because there's nothing going on. This is a failed balance breakdown here and a breaking bad. Balance. Tried to break down, put in buying tail, buying tail, buying tail. Yeah, that was already telling you something was up and right through the high volume node. And that was a balance. Breaking out of that guy. So if I got events right here in silver, I would probably take this trade. So that's what you can do too. You can be like, well, I don't trade silver unless I see this certain strategy, then I'll hop over there. Or unless I see heavy relative volume, then I'll trade. Other than that, I don't mess with it, right? So this, I would take that trade. I know that it would be a fat chance that this moves higher. Oh wait, it moves higher every day. Like, I cannot believe silver is at $95. That's just craziness. But guys, this is a great example, right? Like, how many people are like, this can't go any further. This can't go any further for the last 2 months and just gotten their heads ripped off. That's why you never say a market can't do something, right? You just respond to the real-time volume and structure. This thing can do whatever it wants, and it has. Look at this thing. I mean, how many people were saying this can't go higher? I get whoever was saying that is not trading anymore, very likely, right? Look at this thing. Wow, $50. There's no way. 60, no way. 70, 80, 90. This is why you can't trade with what you think should happen. That's the moral of that story. There's just nothing going on. I will take this reversion now if it. See, I'm going to be out of luck here too. I'm going to take the back in black. So I'm waiting for it to show a bounce off this GEX level, do the reaction, then I'll take it. But if it just tags the ATR and comes back, then I can't take the trade because I'm not taking aggressive trades. Doesn't mean you can't, right? But if you're going to take them, you take them every single time. You can't pick and choose if you're going to, when you think something's going to happen, then you just make it random trading. I say it every day, all day. All right, so these markets are just doing nothing. Let's see what Hero's doing. A whole lot of nothing. All I got on is one gold. Remember, I got out of one there. I don't even know what's going on in there. Hold on. I forgot to put on the sound for the price change. Hopefully, I didn't miss my re-entry here. Where's it at? There's your price change right there, but I just got out right here, right? So I could put this back on if I wanted. I still got these reversions working here too. I forgot about these. So what I wanted, I got out of one of the gold breaking away trades there, and I wanted this to price change. I wanted to be a little better pricing. Market doesn't really care what I want, but I wanted to get in better pricing to put it on again and play this game with them. That was a price change. So I'll just wait and see if we get one more price change down. If it rips, fine. I still got one on. I'm fine with it. So again, if you came in here late, this is a breaking away trade off of this buy ice. Current balance breakout. With a bullish event. With heavy relative volume. Heavy relative volume meaning 200% or more. That was this puppy right here. It did get to 200%. At the time, it was like 195 or something. So I took it, but that was that. Because I want to see the big money behind it. Because there's algos that trade against this too, because it's so damn obvious. That's why failed balance breakouts are so powerful. But this is so obvious that these algos all these traders jump in and they love to snap it back, right? Well, when the big money's in here, that's why I demand heavy relative volume. Then it's harder for them to snap it back. It's more likely to keep going. So that's why I demand that as part of my trade for that strategy. All right, no questions, huh? All right, got an event here. Crude's been very finicky lately because of all the headlines and stuff, but again, you don't know headlines coming out most of the time, so you just put on the trades and hope you don't get headlined. So it's either headlined, heroed, or trumped. Those are the three things that usually or tariffed. But that's part of the headline. Very fun times to trade. One of the three happens probably every 5 minutes. All right, so stop run at these GEX levels. I don't take sexy. I used to take sexy GEXs, meaning the only one I'll take stop runs off these levels as fades is ES because it's such a powerful options market. These other markets aren't as powerful. So if this was sell ice, I'd take the sexy GEX. That's right when I jump in right when the sell ice comes in, right in the middle of the zone. I'm not taking stop runs. But you can watch the hero for this stuff too. Very important. Not as important because it's not as big of an options complex, but USO is a good judge. It's not really doing much today. So this thing doesn't run the show like we're watching with this stuff, but you still want to pay attention to it. Like look at gold. Gold's moved up all day. So it's not hurting the market, right? If dealers are hedging in gold, it's definitely not hurting the move. You can use this too. So say you got a hero or a flow alert, which happens in here. You can say, okay, I'm getting out of some of my gold long because of that, right? So you want to keep an eye on this stuff too. Still, it's important. It's not as important as the main one, but it's still important. So this SP 500 is a combination of SPX, SP equities, S&P futures, and the SPY. I don't have the SPY on here. But that's what this is combining them all. So this is the main one I look at, right? So again, this is literally doing tick for tick what the euro is doing, this market. Yeah, both markets. All right? Pulls back, rallies, little blip, turning back up. Manipulation at its finest. All right, I mean, it doesn't get much more dead than this, guys. I don't know what to tell you. This is part of trading, though. Some days that it just sucks. All right, I do have an A+ reversion working here. And crude, prior event. This is not good because your stop is in it. I only take the ones where the stops are outside of it. That's the dash red line. So the dash line is the entry for the 2 ATR. And my stop is for that one is the dashed red. And you hover over it, it says it too in the bottom. See in the bottom left there, reversion to SL. And then I got that information over here too. See, looks like a lot of information. You just glance over here, right? Where's the stop loss here? It's kind of cut off, but that is, hold on, I'll tell you right now. So that is 59.49. So right here. Reversion too long, so you can't read the rest of it, but that's that price right there. So I have this on here. To do that, you just come in here on this gear wheel here. Pick text, and then you can have circles if you want. I like the text. B bars, H bars, and then this is to put the stuff on. So if you don't like all this stuff from the, if you don't want to take reversions, you want the zone drawing tool. I did this yesterday. You just turn the stuff off if you want, right? It all comes off the chart. You don't have to have 5 million things on there. But again, it's not complicated what I'm looking at, right? It's just there's a lot of stuff on here, but once you understand it, it's it's nothing. All right, I'm gonna put this guy on here. Put on 2.4, so it's either 2 or 3. I'll just put on 2 if this comes down here, just because it's this time of day that usually smokes me. So I will just put that on, and there's the stop. And then I have reversion working in gold too. So I had a chance to get back in this thing, and I didn't do it, right? I was greedy. Remember I said that price change isn't far enough for me, and I didn't do it. Well, I could have put it back on. That's 75 ticks. I could have just taken back, got out, because I got out of one, put it back on the price change, write it back up. So I did not do that. I still have one on, but I could have played the game. I was being greedy. I was hoping it would price change further. And the other thing too is now I'm not taking these GEX. I should be getting filled in my. Hold on.
Order filled. Order canceled.
I'm not taking these reversions now either because I was playing it off this GEX level holding, taking it back in black reversion trade. It just busted through there. So I could still take it off if it does that, but for now, these are canceled. I'm still long, breaking away. All right, I just filled on my bar click. Again, we're right at that time of day where I lost millions of dollars, but trade's on. What I could do here too is the hot knife through butter exit. So we have a trade here too. It's telling you something that the market keeps tagging the ATR, meaning 2 or more times, at least an ATR, and can't go. It's telling you something. So I can move my stop, which I'll do, especially this time of day. I can move my stop up. We actually have a trade for this where you can go short when that happens, and then I can move my stop just below the zone now if I want. I'll put it below that one too. So I'll save myself a little bit, right? 40, almost 40 points. Especially this time of day. This is where they start whipsawing you to death. 596 quarter. I'll put the stop for this bar click. And I only put on half size because I'm going to try to play the price change game too. So if this price changes back down, I'll put on the other half. If it rips, I still have half. And then keep an eye on these GEX levels if you are long. All right. Very likely is at least going to pause there. Good times though. Still can't just get above here. It's just like, could you just, so I'm not ticked again on my entry. All right, CL. And the other thing, I get so wound up taking these reversions, I keep forgetting a lot of times what areas we're going to take position trades, right? So I'll take that reversion, but this is now a short setup because it tagged the ATR below the event. That's how I judge. What areas are there? First we check the Izzy. This isn't Izzy, right? Came down, came up, buy stops, just failed. I could take an Izzy short here. Again, I hate taking trades at this time of day, but we are on a live trading webinar, so I will sacrifice for the team. AlgoGuy is bullish, so no bar clicks there. Let's see if we have any other areas. And what I do here too, so I still wouldn't be filled on this anyway. Here's your entry. Well, you don't want to enter right on a GEX level if possible, right? So move it a couple ticks below. So I'll put on half size here, and then I'll play the price change game here too for the other half. I put on 11 micros. I'll put on 6, and I'll play the price change game. I'll put it on 59.73. Izzy short. That's not right.
Order canceled.
All right, that's working. What other areas we have? I got nothing Ludwig level that is VWAP. I don't take trades off of VWAP. Doesn't mean you can't. Again, guys, I say it all the time. You may have your own important areas. I'm sure you do. It's not for me to tell you what's important or not. You may love taking VWAP trades. It's already bounced off there earlier. I just don't take VWAP trades. But you have an event. If you like trading VWAP, well, now you got an event that's bearish. That's what you want to see. You want to take your important areas and demand an event, right? That's what that is. All right, and then I got the reversion, so I'll take the Izzy short, and then I got the reversion. There's nothing else for me to short up here besides the Izzy. Well, again, I don't take VWAP. I don't have any market profile composite. These are single days, and they didn't merge. This one did over here, though. This has got to be merged here. This was a single day yesterday. So these are not overlapping at all. Another thing I do, you have the first day, the second day is outside, you don't merge that. Say the third day is inside the first day, then you merge all three. But that's not inside there, so I'm not going to merge that either. You know, to form the composites. These are very, very powerful areas. You see it bounced off that one today. Right there. So I didn't take a trade there. Actually, could I have taken the pick there? Yeah, this was a pick. I didn't take it. Right? This was the stop run at an important area. I just didn't see it. Oh no, I take that back. That was 59.35, so that was lower, so I don't feel bad. Yeah, there was no event here to take the pick long. This was higher up, so didn't miss anything there. All right, well, the positive news is I didn't get filled with a tick. It went a little higher, so that makes me just tickled. It's pretty sad when you're existent, you're happy with just not getting filled with the exact tick. Not whether the trade's a winner or loser or a winner. I'm happy just that it wasn't the exact tick that I got filled on. So it's got that going for me, which is nice. I did move my stop here because of it keeps tagging the ATR and can't go. It's more likely going to do that. More likely probability. That's all it is. We have a trade for that. It's called hot knife through butter. Another trading strategy. So guys, in the book, and you know, this is what the course says. It goes over each one of these, and it's not to take every one. It's to pick a couple, get really good at them, and then add. Hot knife through butter. SI events that attempt 2 or more, 1 ATR or more moves out of the zone. 2 or more, right? Trade is taken when the market moves back to the zone and tick outside of the 10% ATR. What is this? What did I just get filled on? Oh, I took this Crude Izzy. I just shorted Crude Izzy. So I'm short Izzy. I'm going to play the price change game. I just put on half. I put on 6, a little more than half. If price changes back up, I'll put on the other half. If it gets smoked, then at least I have something on. And I'm still working this A+ reversion in here. Stop needs to be there. So you can see, like, I'm not doing this on the same account. So what I'm doing is I still have the same Apex accounts I've always had. That's another thing you guys should be using as you learn my methods or any new methods. You shouldn't be risking your own money until you get, you know, good at it, profitable. That's in here too. Affiliate, that's your thank you to me. If you use my code, Pulcini50, for showing you the most powerful edge in the history of the world. Anyway, this is, guys, this is such a gift to have this, right? Like when I got knocked out of trading, there was nothing like this except for one company that was a bunch of nonsense that didn't really want to fund traders, in my opinion, because I would qualify and then they're like, well, now you got to do a secret squirrel qualification. So anyway, I'm not going to name their name, but that's the only one that was around. And that was like right at the end before I got out. It was right around 2013. Now there's, you know, these things are a dime a dozen. This is the one I use. I've been using this for 4 years now. Many traders in my trading room are using it. Many people have been paid from these things. Just got to follow the rules to get paid. But this is what you should use. And right now they got, I think it's 80% off. Again, any sale that they have, just use Pulcini 50 and it'll apply it. But you know, I have a bunch of the 150 accounts. And then I have a trade copier. So it copies my trades. This is the ETP. I did a webinar with them. So it's copying from my Apex accounts to my live accounts. as well. So I do both, right? So you can do that. You can do the, if you want to trade bigger size. How am I not getting filled on this? Actually, I should be filled right now. Hold on. See how that popped up there? That was the entry point. So this one's directly to, this isn't APEG. This is a live one on the reversion trade here. So this is the A plus reversion. And what I can do is get out of, this is a prior event. It's not much of a profit though, but these are areas that I will piece out of my trade, or at least play the price change game, right? So I could have got out of a couple there. Here, this is what I'll do. I'll play it with them. And I only have half size on 2. I'll get out of 2 here.
Order filled.
Then if this price changes back up, I'll put it back on, right? And I turn on the sound. It gets really, 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 you think TickStrike's annoying? This is like off the charts annoying, but it'll tell me when it's price changing the other way. All right, so that's on. I'm shocked this even, usually when you put a real order in these markets, they just like run it against you. So I'm shocked that it didn't just run against me a little bit right there, but I'm in that. I have a short on. I got out of some of those in this prior event with the price change. I will put it back on a price change, and then I have ATR reversion on, A plus reversion. Trader 4513. So on every vol event, the ATR is reset. Yeah, I mean they set it up for that current event, but you can go back and see where the stuff was when you hover over the old ones, right? So if I hover over this, you can see all the, well, you can, the prices are still on here. So these at the time, this was the ATR for this guy here. That was the entry, right? But if you hover over it, it could tell you what your sizing was and everything else. See that? So that's that stuff there. And then the newest ones would populate, and you can turn this stuff off too. It's all customizable in here, right? Go to advanced. Here's all the thresholds for all the markets, and you can turn off them here, turn them off here, and you can also turn off prior event. Actually, that's over here. Sorry. Leave last zone display always on, so I can turn this off if I want. Hopefully, I don't crash this thing. You see how that? If you don't want that stuff on there, you can turn it off. So very customizable. Hold on, I'm going to put this on this account too, just because it's annoying me.
Order filled. Order filled.
Stops down here at 47 for this guy. I mean, it's supposed to be here, but I'm not going to stop out right on the GEX level if possible, so I'll move it down to 47. And then the exit, it's at 89. This is the 2 ATR reversion, A plus. Again, the closest thing, the best thing to a scalp. The price change game is a good scalp too. I don't take that because, again, it could price change for many, many points. It works until it doesn't work. But I'm really glad I didn't play the game here. I got out of one and I didn't put it back on because I was greedy. So I still have one on, but should have played it. So again, here I use this. I showed you guys this example yesterday on the Bookmap webinar. This is what I did the other day in ES. Playing the game. So I picked up 45 more points of profit just playing the game with them, right? Let's see. It was that's what I was yelling at my trade room, not watching the replays. Because there was no sound. I'm like, why would you guys tell me there's no sound? Because here's another thing too, guys, for my trade room now. These webinar replays are all in here on this Fathom. This thing is unbelievable. It is AI. So you click on this for my replay. Because the thing is, if you want to learn this stuff and watch prior webinars, I have 5 years of webinars, right? But you got to watch the whole thing. This lays out every time I talked about something. And then you click on it and it goes right to that point of the video. It's incredible. And it literally generates this 1 second after I get off. It's not like it takes an hour. This is unbelievable. But anyway, I digress. This is the other day, or 2 days ago, I think. Hold on. Where are you at? That was just today. Hold on. I showed this yesterday too. I just want to show you guys like you can play the game with them and capture R in the game instead of getting frustrated. Didn't I just go through all this? Well, nothing's going on, guys, so just bear with me. We're not missing anything. Right here. So I got short. We were short on the webinar. 3 different strategies. We were short slug, stop run into the lug. I was short a GEXy. Remember, I'll take stop run GEXys, sexy GEXys, where I jump right in the middle of the zone from the ES. And I think it were Izzy and a dad trade. A dad trade when you have extreme standard deviation of VWAP with the stop run. So I was short all those. And then these are one of my important areas. You had yellow lug confluent with VWAP, and you can see here bounced, bounced, bounced. Price change into an important area. You get out of some, put them back on, and the corresponding price change back up. Price change in the area, put it on, back up. Price change, and then it finally got killed. So I mean, I was fine with it, but I made 45 points just playing the game. It was 15-point rotations. So I'm, it's fine. This could have went on for 3 hours, and I make 15 points every time. This one I did it 3 times, and then it got killed. I was fine with it. I got out of a third. The 2/3 I had on for the big move. This was a whopper move that day. What day was this? It was 2 days ago, right? 120. Yeah, 2 days ago. But that's my point. I am convinced, yeah, you want to put on trades where you're risking 1 to make 5. That's great. How often does that happen, right? Versus this. So take advantage of that. Play their game with them. And like I said, it's a completely different mindset because you're now hoping you get the back and forth trade so you can keep taking advantage of the rotations. Again, it works until it doesn't work, because I know there's people saying like, well, why don't you just play that all the time? Because yeah, it's working now. Look at this. This is gold. It doesn't matter what market it is either. Price change, price change, price change, price change, price change. See what I'm saying? It works until it doesn't work, because when paper comes in here, think price change for 500 ticks. So you can get burned. So you got to be careful. But I will scalp around positions with this, because if it does rip right now, at least I have something on. I was playing the game with some of them, and I still have some on. That's when I do it. You can scalp off this as you want. I'm not saying you can't scalp off of it, but all right, we're heading to the time. I am long NASDAQ. I had a chance to add to this one too on that price change. I barely tagged it, but I didn't. So I still have half on. And I'm watching these. If it's price changing, I'll actually get out of that, and then I'll play that game. A plus reversions just sitting here, doing nothing. I'll take that. I am short gold Izzy. If the price changes back up, I'll put on the other half there. And I still am long gold, breaking away. We took this on the webinar as well. I could get out of this last one here if I want. Let's see, we might be close to the lug. Lug's usually a good place to get out of the full position because it's so powerful. Yeah, we're at here right now. So I'm going to get out of this. If it forms new lugs, put it back on a price change. It's fine. This was a good trade.
Order held.
All right, so my only losers today have been basically those NASDAQ shorts that I got ticked at the time. And then I got on half of the Izzy and one of the Bark-Lick and NQ. So, and then I have the A plus reversion working too. All right, guys, do this every day for the trade room. Come and learn what is driving these markets, and keep an eye on Hero for when they decide they're going to flip this thing the other way or keep going. Usually it's to the upside. I shouldn't say usually, but more often than not, they play the game to the upside, especially at this time of day. So be very careful trading at this time of day. All right, do this daily. Come on by. Put the flip book in with the courses and everything I use in my trading. If you got questions, you can email me. Thank you.